guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Triple D Show. My name is Divine Pine, your host for this week, and with me we have two incredible humans known as...
G'day guys, I'm DeathNail0. I stream on Twitch, mostly FPS games. You can catch me there through the week.
I am your boy, Dray999. I also do stream on twitch.tv/Dray999. I am the confirmed weeb of the podcast. Thank you so much.
Oh, confirmed weeb. I love to hear it.
Well, that's my official title now.
Oh.
When Death got me with the confirmed weeb, I just ran with it with every video.
Yeah, it's in every
Wait,
video.
you ran?
No, I don't run. I
Like
don't run.
cardio?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I run.
No.
Well,
And,
It's not a thing.
could someone teach me one day, please?
No, don't look at me.
Yeah, the other one is
Put your left foot in, put your left foot out. Wait, no, that's the hokey pokey. Anyway, this week's episode is games that we could always go back to, no matter whether they be retro in the past 10 years or the past year. Really excited to get into this topic today. You can find us on all of our socials, Twitter, Instagram, anything down in the bio below with all of our links. So,
yes, the many links from all the games.
Yes.
yeah.
Many links.
Well, I'm going to get today started with, I can always go back to Skyrim, as mentioned in every previous podcast.
Yeah, good old Skyrim. Yeah, I feel like that's the game.
They just did so well in the game. It's coming up on its 10th year in rotation. It's hit every platform. The only thing I can fault with the game is the glitches, and that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, the glitches in, most Bethesda games, right? Hasn't the Fallout, Skyrim communities, they've just accepted it and made it their own sort of thing? Like they like the nuance of the glitches.
Yeah,
like,
especially like the space program of giants flinging humans up into the sky. I mean, NASA had to start somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You got to find out somehow. But with those sort of games, I could definitely go back to Skyrim 100%. As someone who was never really into fantasy to begin with, Skyrim was like my first, little toe dip into like the fantasy field. And I'll admit, when I first played it, I thought, oh, this is fun, this is cool, it's pretty great, and then I played it and then I kind of went away. But then it wasn't until my late years I really appreciated Skyrim for how open it was, diverse it was, how I could just get lost doing the side missions. Because I used to be the guy who would only do the storyline, nothing else. I would not explore the world. I'm like, get this game done as quickly as I can. And then I revisited it and I went, oh my word, there's an actual world here.
Definitely.
There's an actual game here.
Yeah. Kind of like Red Dead Redemption, where you're like, oh, look, a deer. And then you run into 50 different guys and you're like, shit.
My thing with Red Dead Redemption was like, I did the first playthrough and all I did was the story. And then I did a second playthrough, and after knowing what happens, and I won't spoil it for anyone, but after knowing what happens, I literally got to about maybe the third or fourth act where Arthur Morgan's in his prime. And that's where it stayed. That's where it stays. I go and do all the side missions. I go and do all the quests to get skins to upgrade my bag and all that kind of stuff. Like all the stuff that I didn't do in the first playthrough is what I've been doing in the second one. And Micah, I did a playthrough where Micah stays in jail. I don't actually go and get Micah. So
Spicy.
so I can just like go to that prison in that little town and take photos with him.
It's like, stop my boys in jail.
Yeah. He's
Just leave him there.
Yeah, I literally just leave him here and just go about my thing. And he's like, Arthur, help me. I'm like, no.
We don't use my get out of jail free card on him. It's on someone else more important.
That's it. We're just like, nah, you can stay there, dude.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. A lot of people just play the main storyline, and I think it is very, very important that you need to go play the different storylines, the different factions. You need to become very well versed in Gwent, which is the card game associated. I have spent a disgusting amount of hours, I think probably like 200 hours on the playable card game alongside Witcher 3. Just learning. Thanks. Just learning how, like, the mechanics and getting good at the game. And then I went back into Witcher 3 and went, oh, I'm good at this. I know how to play this.
Oh wait, there's a whole other game except Gwent.
Yeah, I was like,
No,
oh,
it's the game is
yeah.
Gwent and it has The Witcher 3 built around it.
As like a built around it. Yeah, it's like Gwent featuring The Witcher 3 Wild Hunts.
Yeah,
it's an
I
open
messed
world
up the
Gwent game.
storyline. Yeah, I messed up the storyline in Witcher 3 so bad that I had to replay the game twice because I kept killing one important character that you get the card off of, like one significant card, and I was like, it's me, I did it again.
I got that.
Guess I'm restarting this save too.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
the thing is, you don't notice it until you're at the end of the game. You're sitting there with all your trophies, and it's like, complete the monster deck, and it's like, okay, well, I killed that guy. I can't. Shit.
Fuck.
I ruined it, boys.
I really do. I really did enjoy The Witcher 3. And, you know, for me, it's like there is the main storyline, but, you know, obviously it being a CDPR game, like the side missions are written like main story missions, like, you know what I mean? So like you could be doing something so minuscule as like, oh, you know, Witcher, help me find my lost son. And then, you know, you go out, you look for the kid and you think, oh yeah, just find the kid and kill a monster and it'll be fine. But then all of a sudden you kill this monster and it sends you down this rabbit hole of like side mission for another hour and a half. And you're like, what the hell happened?
Witcher 3 is incredible. I wish I could erase my memory of the game and replay it again and again because the monsters in that game, the way that the signs are built around the monsters, the potion making, the backstories, like Witcher 1 and 2 were incredible, don't get me wrong, but Witcher 3 I think really made the series. And with the Netflix television series coming out, Henry Cavill, I love you, you're not Harry.
That's Harry.
Fuck.
Harry Cavill.
I'm gonna live in shame forever, aren't I?
Yeah.
Harry Cavill.
Oh gosh. It's
Oh,
game.
wow, you're like actually stressed about. You're like,
One day he's going to see this, and I'm going to be like, "Listen, sir, I'm so sorry."
look, can I have your PC? Can I just have your PC, sir?
Oh my gosh, yeah, he built a PC and knew all the parts, and I was flabbergasted. Anyway.
You just watch him there build a PC and be like,
I didn't have two pairs of binoculars. It was fine. But yeah, I think the devs did a fantastic job on that game. And my ultimate goal for complete nerddom is to have like a thick leather-bound bestiary with all the monsters from Witcher 3, every sign detail, every potion description, like the little burnt edges on the page, like it's just a beautiful game, so well written, so well thought out, and just, yeah, I want a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon card of like Gwent deck. Oh my gosh, that game was
have they made
so.
an IRL Gwent deck? I'm sure they have, right?
They have to. They have
There's got to
to.
be a real IRL Gwent game because they made like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh into a thing.
It'd be pretty cool collectible to have like you know, like a pretty cool collectibles would be like Gwent decks and stuff like that. That'd be interesting.
100%. I would have one to display and one to use.
Yo, can I get a speed run of Gwent? 100% speed run of Gwent.
Oh my gosh.
The
See,
speed
now,
runners.
now I want to load up my PlayStation, go into my full save, and just like, oh, quick game of Gwent, anyone? Anyone use the monster deck?
Look, just like create a spin-off like Hearthstone, but just make it Gwent.
There is.
Easy.
There is.
Is there is?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Shows how much I
It's
know.
available on every platform, and I'm pretty sure it's free to download. Yeah,
haven't
it was
actually
free
played
for me on the
Witcher 3.
PlayStation
Yeah.
4, and I've got over 200 hours in it. Just because you can sit there just throwing cards out, you don't lose anything, you don't gain anything. It's just playing the game. It's incredible.
See, I bought Witcher 3. I played a little bit. I have barely passed like the first bit of the game because I played it on my PlayStation and then I went off and did other stuff because I wasn't playing my PlayStation. But if I buy it on, look, after Cyberpunk, really me enjoying Cyberpunk a lot from CD Projekt Red. Don't at me. I like the game. But that's another story for another day. But from what I saw of Witcher 3, I really did enjoy my time in it, and I want to revisit it on my PC. I'm trying to do a thing where I want to revisit a whole bunch of my games that I never touched on PS4 that I bought and then just buy it on PC and play it on PC.
Steam summer sales.
Let's just say I have already spent money on the summer sales already.
So have I, and I don't think I regret a single purchase.
I've remained relatively in control and not purchased anything.
Oh.
The bad thing is, right, like at the time of this recording, we are some of us, or most of us, are in lockdown at the moment because
Yeah.
of COVID. And at this point, most people, they're on like JobKeeper or disaster pay, or not even, getting an income at the moment. And Steam summer or winter, it's summer at the moment over there.
Yeah,
So
in the
Steam
US.
summer sales, of course, they have to happen during lockdown where we're not getting an income.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Thanks, Steam.
I was lucky because Tarkov wiped as soon as the lockdown started. So,
guess.
Oh, you lucky bugger.
so everyone got reset back to zip in Tarkov just as lockdown started. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm sorted. So
You and my brother are in the same boat. He just bought a PC, brand new, 3080, perfect graphics.
Nice.
He's just got everything you need, and what he's done for the past, I think, like week is sat there on Tarkov. Like, I can hear him through my headset, through you guys, through my wall, through a cupboard that is built in. I can hear him go, all right, boys, we're loading in. Like, he's ready to go.
that
He
is
has
100% a thing. I
Yeah,
was learning.
yeah. I'm like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for like the Russian words, and yeah.
It's not
so-
Oh yeah, there's a very good representation video on TikTok that I saw, and it was like one day after playing Tarkov, and the guy was just like whatever. And then like 1 month after playing Tarkov, and he starts speaking Russian, and then 3 months after playing Tarkov, and it's like full dressed in armor and like davai, davai, nah! Like it's like full angry Russian by the end of it. And like honestly, it's true. The amount of times I break out into a Russian accent on stream.
Your
So-
mom's like, oh son, you've changed.
It's like your mum, and it's like, son, look, I know you're liking Tarkov, and you turn around, you've got like a gas mask on.
Yeah.
You got like a Kalashnikov, just like
One of those
duh.
fluffy hats, so you're like, it's
Yeah.
winter.
With, like, bottles of
Wearing
vodka
a
everywhere.
Ushanka inside with an AK, and I'm just like, duh.
Duh. Sugar. Sugar. That's
like,
been me
mom,
with
why aren't you dressed up?
What are you talking about? I'm going to
cosplay, bro.
Tarkov.
Oh, right. Like, Tachanka is your now new main in Siege.
Yeah,
All hail Lord Tachanka.
yeah. I could literally dress like Tachanka in Tarkov, so that is definitely a thing.
Yeah. So, speaking of which,
Oh
I
my-
feel like Rainbow Six Siege is one of those games I can come back to. At the moment, I haven't played it recently, but I have been thinking about re-downloading it and visiting it. I can't speak tonight, Steve, bro. No, stop.
Join me.
I'm thinking it, like, I'm tempted because I really did miss playing that game quite a bit. I really liked, the destruction, the destruction of the environments, the weapons, the loadouts, and just like, I really enjoyed the strategicness of that gameplay where, you just don't go rush B, it's more like, all right, guys, I'm gonna like peek around this corner and like shoot a pixel and kill this guy.
Yeah.
And like getting an ace in that game, a full squad wipe, or
Oh
like
my
a full
gosh.
wipe in that game is
You're God.
Oh, it's just like it's the greatest thing in the world because you're so stressed out, and then the moment you get that last guy with like, you pull out your pistol because you have to reload, you're like bang 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 bang, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, like that rush of adrenaline or like the dopamine that hits the brain.
It's crazy.
It is. So I feel like that game I could come back to.
Mm-hmm.
See that
Like,
feeling you're
100%.
describing there is like for anyone who's like started playing Tarkov as a new player, they know exactly what that feeling is, because when you've been loading in raid after raid as a new player, not knowing where things are, not knowing where people are going to come from, and you keep getting one tapped or just mowed down by giga chads running around with super good weapons and stuff. When you're like
Yeah.
when you're like a new player and you get that first crispy one tap on someone and you're like, let's go, like
It is one of those things because you don't know the map, you don't know the mechanics, you don't know anything, and you're sitting there on team comms and you're like, I think I heard someone running. I thought I heard a footstep. It could have been mine.
yeah. And then like, you get to like where I'm at, like, and granted, I'm not anywhere like the most amount of hours played in Tarkov, I think, is 18,000. A player's got 18,000 hours in it, right? I've got about 1,300. And for me now, it's like I'm like laser focused, like where are people coming from? Like I'm watching the screen, like seeing for any sort of small pixel movements, and like now I'm like I take someone down, I'm like good kill, like
Duh. Duh.
Yeah.
he's got him, he's down. Like, you know what I mean? Like the communications becomes SEAL team level where you're like, all right, I'm moving third door on the left, third story, I'm down the corridor, I'm nading, you know, and then like room's clear. I just one tap the guy, you know, like, oh, he's got a mate, like, you know, and you're like the communication becomes so laser focused, and then like, you know, 1,300 hours in, and then like, yeah, compared to like the first, if I could go back to like my first, you know, 50 hours in that game, it would be fun.
You wanted to die.
Yeah, well, like that first feeling of like the dopamine hits of like, you know, killing people like at the start. I mean, it sounds kind of dark, but like,
but it's a huge achievement because you genuinely go up against people who have like hundreds of hours. Like I'm still on hour 12. I just checked that. I'm on hour 12 of playing Rainbow Siege 6, and I threw a grenade and killed 2 people. And that was it. I ran into the room and I was like, yeah, woo! And then the boys in my squad, were like, we're pinging a third person. You've got to kill them. And I was like,
you don't celebrate until the round is over. You do not celebrate until the round is over.
I'm learning that the hard way.
Yes, because you get one tapped while you're celebrating.
Yeah, because that game, Siege is a brutal game. Like, even like getting a kill is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, because a headshot counts more than a body shot. Whereas if you're like me and you realize you can like dive a little and you can just like kind of fall on the floor and just spin in a circle, people are like, "What are you doing, you moron?" You kind of get away with some stuff.
Yeah, I can't say I get away with that stuff because I'm like, when the difference between me on stream playing like a I don't know, fun little game with friends like Forza or Cyberpunk or I don't know, like Stardew Valley, I'm like, ha ha ha, you know, we're having a great time, and then there's me in like a competitive game like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Battlefield, or like Siege, for example. I'm like, I am done. It is dead silent, and I can just be like, guys, coming up the stairs, coming up the stairs, coming up the stairs. He's low ammo. He's about half clip, and I'm just like. I'm ready. I'm like,
going, speaking of games we could go back to, right? Like pre the wipe for Tarkov, which would have been like only a few weeks ago, right? All the boys got like a little bit tired of playing Tarkov. Like we'd been playing the whole wipe. We all had millions and millions of rubles and stuff. It was just kind of boring for us. And
you're too rich is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Like I think between all of us we probably had about 400 million rubles. Like, you know what I mean? So we're all cashed up. Anywho,
vodka for all tonight.
So like we what was that? Sorry?
Vodka for everyone.
Oh yeah,
vodka for all.
Bro, you want a kit? I'll bring you an M4 kitted up. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was that kind of thing. Like but so we all sort of like went and started playing other games, and like a couple of the games that ended up in the rotation was like Battlefield 4. We started playing BF4. I didn't play heaps of it. Like I started playing Operation Locker about, you know, you play 24 hours of Operation Locker and you're kind of done.
True.
But the other game that I went back to was CSGO.
Yeah, same, eh? Oh my god!
Oh my god! The ranked lobbies and the toxicity. Oh
I don't play ranked.
It was.
I don't play ranked. I just play casual.
It was honestly eye-opening because I remember like I grew up with CS 1.6, and so like the good old days, you know what I mean? Where you download skins from a skin website for the guns and stuff like that, right? Because you know you were just playing on your PC, you download the skins and you'd add them to your own PC.
Now they're worth like hundreds and thousands of dollars.
And now they're worth like, you know, a crap tons of money. Like, you know, certain skins are hundreds of thousands, aren't they?
No, the most I've seen, I actually jumped on the market today. I almost bought a key. But I didn't because I'm a good boy. The most I saw was like 8K, 10K for a skin. It'd be like a gun or a knife, mainly gloves. And gloves and knives are the most expensive you can buy.
Yeah. Because it's like that thing, isn't it? Like that's what you see the most of. Like you see your gloves, and like
you see it.
All the pro players, they always swap to their knife and stuff that I've noticed. You know, so everyone's constantly swapping to their knife to show their knife off or whatever.
I've done that a few times. Because you have your knife all the time, and actually a mate of mine gifted me a knife for my birthday years ago. He's like, "Hey man, here, I'll give you one of my knives." And I'm like, "Oh cool, it's worth like $100 now. It's like $160 now." And I'm like,
sell that bitch.
No, I'm gonna keep it.
Don't mind if I do.
They're like like the little like I don't know what the shadow daggers, or but I call them the butt plugs. The butt plug knives.
Oh,
'Cause they
okay,
look
yeah,
like-
yeah. It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
T blade. Like it's got the
Oh, it's
blade
like- yeah.
with like a T handle.
Yeah, T handle. Like they're cool as hell. Like, and if I ever want to buy, like, I could sell it and buy like Resident Evil 8 if I really wanted to, but I like them too much. That like, because that was the thing about CS. It was, you know, after, you know, the skins became, you know, actually had a value on the market. People, and obviously YouTube is popularizing the game. It blew up, and people it's like League of Legends. I think that game will never die. That
Oh
game
gosh.
will never die.
And I can always go back to League of Legends too, because they have seasonal ranks. So that's a very, very easy thing to like get into. They're always creating and adding in new champions. They've never talked about adding in a second game. Overwatch, I'm looking at you, what the fuck?
Overwatch
like,
dose.
yeah, like League of Legends actually is timeless. I think the whole reason we have esports today, this is probably a very big statement, is because of League of Legends. It is such an international game that I remember watching like esports religiously, daily, throughout my summer, which was like December, January, and it was all League of Legends esports because it is such an engrossing game. And I remember when there used to be crowds of like 200-300 people watching these 10 giga nerds up on stage.
No,
playing-
Giga Chads.
Oh, sorry, Giga Chads, m'lady, up on stage, literally on a stage, playing
It's
League of
nuts.
Legends. And the thing is, I was one of the audience because I was like, I wish I was that good. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Soraka Nami main. I am that bitch that's like, I'll heal you and take my banana and my wave like any day. Just like
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
League of Legends people will get that. Trust me, it's fine. But like, it's one of those things where I have perfected 2 champions out of like the 50 that are there, and I'm gonna go back to League of Legends. I can definitely say in 2 months. I play maybe a game a month to be like, oh yeah, I'm still shit, and then I'll leave it. And like, it's a thing. League of Legends, yeah, it may be one of the most toxic communities, but I'm like, shit.
What esports community doesn't have some sort of toxicity?
Yeah.
Exactly,
I mean,
'cause
most
it's
like a lot of communities
competitive.
have toxicity. Like there's more than a fair share of toxic people in the Tarkov community. You know, they're constantly complaining about, you know, servers and desync and stuff like that. And like, honestly, if you could convert that salt into power for the servers, they'd probably have stable servers, but whatever. You know,
I think
for
I've
me, it's
heard a
like,
lot
I
of-
just enjoy the game. And like, you know, if it happens, it happens. Like the amount of effort that goes into developing a game and maintaining servers and all that kind of stuff, like, you know,
It's hard.
it's just
Bro,
what it
it's
is. Like
hard.
you deal with it or you don't. Like, yeah, you can raise the issue of you know, yeah, there's server issues or there's desync and stuff like that, but like constantly complaining about it and then like obviously blaming bad play for it, like, you know what I mean? Like it gets tiring, bro, and I'm sick of it.
And I think
think
you have to remember that Tarkov is still in beta too. The wipes
yeah.
are actually just beta wipes. It's not actually a fully fledged game yet.
No, that's right. It hasn't been released yet. Like, the release is not anywhere soon. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
going to be in a wipe cycles for at least the next few years until they get everything that they want to put into the game, and then they'll actually do a release. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, for me, that's I don't
It's
know,
just-
my little point on that.
Well, yeah, of course. It's just like, think about it. Think how toxic the CS:GO community can be at times.
Oh, I've experienced it.
Call of Duty, even like even Halo. Going back to like Halo 3 and stuff like that. Like by nowadays, that sort of toxicity is nothing compared to these days now. But it's like with any online game. It depends how you deal with it. It depends how you move on with it. And at the end of the day, you do have a mute button.
And it is classic sportsmanship. I think a lot of people do forget that even in a single player game, you die, you feel emotions. Like, God forbid we're human. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, like
Fleshy
we're
meat sacks.
yeah, we're sad, we're angry, and some people's reaction is to immediately take that out on A, the person that killed them, or B, their teammates.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you're always going to get toxic players, and I love to say, don't get bitter, get better. So
I like
it's
that.
always, it's just a
Good term.
thing. Yeah.
Quote of the podcast. Get better.
Don't get bitter, get better.
It's
Yeah.
like the nice way of saying get good scrub.
Get
Pretty-
good scrub.
Pretty much. I mean,
Are you good? I'm not sure.
I just, it's one of those things. It's kind of like
Casual
in
hair flick.
RuneScape when people say RNG has cucked me. I'm like, yeah, it might have. I mean, I have 93 farming and I still don't have a farming pet, but I have done this one boss 278 times and I've gotten a drop that's 1 in 1,000 4 times. So it gives you a counter. Yeah. So like RNG has cucked me in one sense, but it's blessed me. It's blessed the rains for me in another sense. So I genuinely can't be mad.
See,
So-
I'm one of those players that I'm really bad when it comes to attention span and shit. So as much as I would love to appreciate something like Dark Souls, for example, I can't play it. If I die and if I got to do the same thing too many times, I get like, fuck this, I'm not doing this. Like I get salty when I have to redo a level in a single player game because I want nothing but constant progression.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky enough where I'll be like, I was like today, for example, I was playing Metro Exodus, a fantastic series, by the way, the Metro series, and I died because of some mistake or some stupid thing I did, and I had to redo like this one section. I almost like quit because I'm like, I don't want to do this again.
Rage
I don't want to do this
quitting.
again.
Rage quitting is such a big thing. I am scared to play the Dark Souls series. My community are genuinely like on Twitch. You can do this thing which is like a community challenge, and they give their channel points towards it. And some of them have started being like, "You should do a community challenge so you play Dark Souls." And I'm like, that requires me buying the game.
1, money. 2, Dark Souls.
I have to be mentally stable enough to buy this game because I've heard things.
Oh, it's
I've heard
difficult.
people lose their minds to this game, and I'm like,
Like, if
I
was to do
like
the
playing
same
Animal
thing-
Crossing right now.
Like that's the thing. You gotta have the drive. Like,
Yeah.
playing video games, right? It's not like, oh, you have to like everything. You don't have to. It's what you like to play. And if you like
100%.
playing the same thing for like 100 times, more power to you. If you just want to do nothing but progression, then go for it. Luckily, we live in a world where we literally have a game for any kind of demographic.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. There's so much variety.
Because for me, I can appreciate a game like Dark Souls. I can look at it and go, wow, it looks. I'm sure it's a fantastic game, but for me, I don't want to be doing the same thing over and over and over.
See, I kind of want to figure it out. I want to know what the game mechanics are, but at the same time, I know I'm going to fail. So maybe I do it on the easiest difficulty. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around the concept of doing this incredibly challenging game. Whereas I could go back to a game I've played thousands of times, like The Sims, and it could be a little different. Because I could be like, you know what? I got the Journey to Batu pack. I can take Kylo Ren out of that pack and make a family with him.
Disney, get on it. Get on it,
No,
Disney.
you can. There are console commands and commands you can put in, be like, yoink and bloop. Just
What was the cheat for that to get it? Like, was it Motherload or something? Or
Motherload gives you 50,000 gold, or you can just type in get gold and put in the amount you want. But you have to do Control-Shift-C and enable cheats first. Not that I condone cheating.
Sure.
In a single player offline game, go to your heart's content.
Do
That's it.
remember that
Don't
your
do it in
achievements are
Tarkov.
turned off as soon as you put in any kind of cheat codes, including Skyrim and The Sims.
Oh yeah, I don't care about achievements.
I'm an achievement hunter. Like I've like my mentality is like, I gotta get the achievements. Like I'm working on them right now for Sea of Thieves, and there are 3,178 achievements in that game, I think, and I'm sitting on about 1,670. So
Wow.
I got a lot to go.
Like that's again, Sea of Thieves is a racing game I've been playing, and I feel like I come back to way too much just because.
See if Thieves is
Yeah.
a racing game. What?
Yeah, exactly. You're racing across the seas.
Yeah. Well,
But,
they
like-
recently opened up a whole new portion of the map. They added the Pirates of the Caribbean content with Jack Sparrow and those tall tales that I've completed them all, fully
I haven't done all of
completed.
them yet. Haven't done them.
Beautiful.
I've only done one.
Rare did such a good job with the music in that game.
Is this Rare's Redemption? Is this Rare's Redemption now? Are they going to be
Rare
good like they used to be?
Yeah, I think the developers actually did a really good job.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
There have been quite a few hot fixes. There have been a few glitches that I'm hoping that they're going to work out.
Compared to most other games, it's nothing.
Glitches in terms of killing you glitches when you can't proceed through the storyline anymore.
Well, consider like most modern day games as well when they release a game with a whole lot of bugs. It's like if that was like maybe 10, 15 years ago, then it would be, yeah, what the hell's going on? But nowadays when games are releasing like this and bugs are quite prominent, like, you know, prominent, it's as long as they're getting on it, as long as you don't see it in the news, it should be fine.
Yeah. I think a lot of people complain about Sea of Thieves being PvPvE, and I'm like, that adds to the game for me because
that's the charm of the game.
Yeah,
well,
I get that.
Say of being a pirate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're a pirate on the seas. Like people go, oh, you know, they sunk my ship and stole my treasure.
Go get it back, or go get more treasure.
It's pirate.
Yeah.
You mean to say that players playing as pirates acted like pirates? In a game
Hang on a minute.
Pirates?
Hang on, that's almost.
No,
that's almost too smart.
Too smart. Mimi small brain. Mimi small brain.
Exactly. Like I run a Reaper flag most days, and people
Dirty
be.
Reaper.
I'm sorry. Hi.
Dirty Reaper.
It's the only one I haven't gotten to 50 yet, other than my Athenas. So
remind me not to get on a server with you.
Honestly, I see so many of my friends are streamers as well, and they play Sea of Thieves, and I genuinely will have their streams open, and if I load into an instance where I have the same world event, I'm like, bye, I'm out, sayonara, I'll see you next week.
Over here.
Stream sniping.
It's not a stream sniper.
Dirty stream sniper.
It's being conscious of my environment. Also, I know my friends are much better at PvP than I am. So
I think that's stream sniping.
I'm pretty sure it's stream sniping. Yep.
It's consciously avoiding death.
It's
not death.
Stream avoidance.
Death.
Stream avoidance. It's much worse.
No,
you're not winning here, fine. You're not winning here. Accept your fate.
I don't want to load into a game where I'm going to be on someone's stream and they're going to be like, oh yeah, look at me snipe this nerd. And then they ruin me and I'm like, I will go down with this ship. And I'm
it's got me thinking though, like we're talking about like games that we could go back to. It's like for me, I can't do the retro games anymore. Anything on PlayStation, like Nintendo 64, I respect them because we wouldn't have gaming as it is today without them. And I love them as a kid and stuff, but honestly, I can't go back there.
I feel like
not even with emulators?
Nah, not even with emulators. Like I'll happily watch people play Zelda, like Ocarina of Time and all that kind of stuff. Like I'll sit there and watch them, sure, but it's just for me, it's like, no, I can't go. I can't go that far backwards.
Being a retro nerd and collecting games since, you know, as long as I can remember, I feel like there are games I will easily, like the Ratchet and Clank series. I will go back and play Ratchet and Clank 1, 2, and 3, no questions asked. And even some older games that I never grew up playing and didn't have the nostalgia for, like I recently played Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and on the GameCube. And that's a game I never grew up with, I never played, and I still had an amazing time playing that game because part of Zelda, like the Legend of Zelda formula, is that sort of adventure, puzzle building, engaging environment. And I feel like if you make a game good enough, you know, a story more engaging, then it'll stand the test of time. Like, for example, like I won't, as much as I enjoy, like I appreciate and I enjoy stuff like Atari games, I don't think I'll go back and play an Atari game. Like I'll play it for like, oh, this is really cool, but I won't be like, oh, I'm gonna crack open the Atari today and play for the next like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice novelty, but I feel like there are certain games that that are just way too dated. But I believe some NES games, like massive example, Super Mario, the original Super Mario Brothers, you could probably easily go back and play today and still have a fantastic time because that's what the new Mario games are like nowadays.
They pretty much are platformers. It's just
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I grew up with a SNES. Right, I got given a SNES when I was really young.
Yeah, boy, SNES boys.
Like if we were to go back through, you know, my gaming history, my first ever console was a Commodore 64. That's how old I am, right? I was given
Like a
it.
car?
No, it was a console. And
Oh.
I'll throw up a picture of a Commodore 64 for those of you who don't know what one is, but it was a video game console that played on cassettes.
It's
Oh.
old.
Mm,
So
it's
this
old.
was during the Commodore 64 was around the time was like late 70s.
Yeah,
So-
it was old. It was old as
Yeah.
fuck. But like, I got given one
It was
when I
like the
was
Wild
like
West of the game
4 or
console.
5.
Yeah.
And so that was the first console I had, and like then I got given a SNES afterwards. So I had a Super Nintendo that my older sister gave me, and you know, playing Mario and stuff like that, like I thoroughly enjoyed it, and that's where obviously gaming went for me. It was like I had a Game Gear after that, and then went from Game Gear to a PlayStation, like, you know what I mean? So don't get me wrong, I enjoyed those games thoroughly growing up, but you know, this day and age, like, I mean, I got Super Mario Brothers Deluxe U for the Nintendo Switch for my daughter, because I wanted her to experience what Mario's were like.
Gaming is.
Yeah,
What a great
well,
Mario.
experience what Mario's were like when I was growing up, but like, you know, without having to get a SNES or like emulate it.
Or
So,
an NES to be like, here, this is what I play.
yeah,
Follow in my
Yeah.
footsteps.
I mean,
See, I
like,
never had that.
no,
Really?
My first Nintendo console that I own is a Switch. I never had a DS. I never had any. My first console is a Switch.
I had that. I had the SNES, the Game Gear. Then I went to the PlayStation, and then I got a Game Boy Pocket. That was me, like between
That's
maybe
nuts.
like 5 years old to 9 years old, 10 years old. That was
Yeah.
My console history goes PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. And I've had PCs because, like, the first game I remember playing is Halo. Like, Halo Combat Evolved. No remaster, no
original.
nothing. Like, crank through that that storyline in maybe an hour and a half. No biggie. I
Yeah.
can do that right now. Let's load it up. But
Speed
like,
run.
I mean, one of my
Speed run
older
80%.
cousins got into like PC building probably around the time I was like 10 or 11. And so he's only a couple of years older than me. So he was like maybe 13, 14. And he taught me how to build PCs. So I built my first PC when I was 11.
okay, so I come from a family of one of 4 kids. Like, my parents had to find some way to occupy us, I guess.
Here's 2 rocks, go outside.
Pretty much. Like, we grew up
My
with
man
the
used
footy.
to say, here's a box of matches, go play on the highway.
we kind of had that, but it was go play in the backyard, and then we would swing on the hills hoist, and my brother ran into the clothesline, so there was a bit of a difference.
Classic.
Yeah, and then we had chickens, we had dogs, we had cats, we had everything.
Bro,
We had
IRL Stardew Valley, what are you talking about?
right? The devs actually took inspiration from my life.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
fine. But yeah, like the first time we got a family console was the PlayStation 1, and there was only ever 2
magnifique.
controllers. It was actually a baller console. It was so good. I would always have to fight my brothers to be player 2 or even be a player because, I mean, I was a girl, and they always used to play Ratchet and Clank. They always used to play Spyro, the original Spyro. And another game that I remember playing is Croc, Legend of the Gobbos.
Legend of the Garbos. Oh, Croc.
For everyone who is not an Australian,
What?
a gobbo. Do you guys know what a gobbo is?
I can guess. I can guess.
So as
Legend
kids,
of
we
the Garbos.
No, please continue.
I don't know what the devs were thinking of when they made this game,
They're
because
American. They don't know what a gobbo is.
were they American devs?
Fox Interactive, I think.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was Fox. I believe it was Fox
They probably-
Interactive, or
They probably heard it in passing from an Australia once and thought it was funny.
Rock.
Oh,
One.
Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. It was such an easy gameplay too. Like, you could literally get the story done in maybe 15 minutes if you were
Oh, yeah.
speedrunning it. It was fantastic. It was simple. It was so easy to play.
It was a great game. So
It's
it
so
was
good.
Argonaut Games, Fox Interactive, MediaQuest, Kid Station, THQ.
Are they Australian?
No.
Okay.
No,
So
no.
Gobbo in Australian terms is a
Nah.
blow. Do we say this on the podcast?
I think Aussies will understand what it is.
It's a blow beep 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 beep, bro.
But, yeah.
And
Yeah.
literally, we probably used the PlayStation 1 till we were teenagers, and I would always recommend this game to my friends, and I never knew what it was until I was like 14.
Legend of the Couples.
It was the worst thing because I would always play video games throughout my youth, and then one of my friends told me when I was 14, she's like, you know what a golo is, right? You've been saying this to all your mates throughout your entire childhood.
Oh my god! But that's the thing. The PS1 was, for me, it was my first console as well. Like, for me, it was Gran Turismo 1. Oh god,
Ooh.
Gran Turismo 1. That was where like my gaming journeys began. Gran Turismo 1, Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider,
Crash Bandicoot, Nitro Racing.
Nitro Kart. Oh, set me
Nitro
up.
Kart, yeah.
No,
Was
Crash
that
Bandicoot
one?
was like one of the first games I ever had on my PlayStation. It was,
Everyone had
I
Crash.
had 3 games
Yeah.
when I got my PlayStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't, I didn't choose my games because they
Nobody
were
did
just
when
bought
they
for
were
me,
young.
right?
Oh,
And so
100%.
the
No,
3 games that I got was Crash Bandicoot 1, Formula 1, right? That's all it was ever. It was literally Formula 1. 1995 was the year Formula 1.
Bro, that I had that.
Did ya?
Yeah, I think I still have it in like my drawer
Oh,
somewhere.
really? Oh, there you go. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
How much
Formula
dust
1.
is in it?
And
And
they
the
had the
other-
commenter.
Hey, yeah, and I had Martin
Yeah.
Brundle, the commentator.
Michael Schumacher round the bend.
Yeah. And the other game I had was Top Gun, Fire at Will. It was called.
Ooh.
Right, Top Gun,
Never.
Fire at Will. It was a movie tie-in game
Oh, God.
for Top Gun, which made no sense because the PlayStation was probably released, I don't know, what was it, late 80s for Top Gun?
Yeah.
Would have been
something like that,
1991 or something. It would have been like 10, like 4
With a
years or something.
With a pixelated Tom Cruise.
No, it was
PlayStation
literally-
1 was 1995.
There you go, 95, right? And so it was like literally a polygonal representation of a F-14, and you'd fly around and shoot down planes with it, and that was the game. It was like just various levels of you doing that over and over again. But I had
It's
fun with
crazy.
it.
It's crazy to see how far we come in games. Like, if you look on the back of the box of Gran Turismo, it says the real driving simulator. Like,
Sorry.
no, it's right, because I remember playing it, and it was like, oh, look at the reflections on the car and everything, and they had some of the best cars in that game.
I
It
remember
was
playing
all
Gran
big.
Turismo 2. And if anyone remembers having a Gran Turismo 2 disc, the play disc was the blue one, and it had a little scratch and sniff on the. It had
No
It had a
way.
scratch and sniff on the disc, right? So if you scratched
It
where it
smelled like
said GT disc or something like that, it would smell like pit lane, right? Like burnt rubber and
rub
stuff like
oil
that.
on it or something.
Yeah, it was like some smell they put into it, right? Anyway.
No way. Wait
yeah,
a second.
Google it.
Wait a
Google
second.
it. Have a look. Have a look.
Disclaimer, please don't sniff your disc right now because it's
scratch.
probably old and
It probably doesn't
disgusting.
work now.
Yeah.
No, carry on.
No
You know what? No,
way.
carry on. If you want to scratch and sniff your disc, do it.
Scratch and sniffing discs since
Just
1995.
making sure that we're saying disc.
Disc.
Wait, I just
That doesn't make it sound better.
the smell of Gran Turismo.
There you go.
No way. A scratch and sniff
What?
disc?
Why?
Yep.
Wait.
It was just part of the thing. Like that was it. It came on 2 discs. It was
Pit stop disc. Please rub the disc label of the GT mode gently with your fingertips or a
What?
soft cloth to experience the authentic pit stop smell. It would just smell like
Burnt
pencil
rubber
oil.
and
rubber.
petrol. Yeah, burnt rubber.
They
And
were
petrol.
trying to get kids high?
I don't know, probably. Anyway,
Look, it got kids to be car nerds, all right?
I just recall it right from my childhood. But I remember playing the game and like, blowing out because of how, oh my god, that it looks exactly like a Skyline does, or that looks like a
Yeah,
real car.
it looks like an NSX or it
And
looks
then you
like
go
a
back to it
WRX.
today, and you're like, holy shit, dude! Is that what I thought the car looked like?
I know.
We
It's
had
like, it
totally
was-
different experiences on a PlayStation.
Apparently, FIFA had a scratch and sniff as well.
What?
Ooh.
FIFA 2001 on PlayStation had a scratch and sniff. Smelled
You know
the
what?
pitch.
I feel like before discs become an obsolete medium, bring back the scratch and sniff.
Please give us back scratch
know,
and sniff discs.
Bring out,
Resident
bring
Evil
out,
8
bring
scratch
out The
and
Witcher
sniff.
4 with a scratch and sniff on there.
Make it smell like Henry Cavill. Please, please, just scratch and sniff Witcher 4 as Henry
Ross,
Cavill.
Legend of the Gobos, scratch and sniff.
Oh god.
No, that's it. I'm out. Podcast ending. No one wants to scratch and sniff that.
Oh, that'd be great. But like, what kind of marketing would you have to go through to be like, all right, guys, what do we have to do for the latest PS1 game? All right,
that
we
was
got
late
Gran
90s
Turismo.
marketing, bro.
Like Gran Turismo 2 coming out. What are we gonna do? Scratch and sniff discs. Fuck, perfect. I love it.
You know what? Scratch and sniff was a big thing. I remember there was a Spice Girls PlayStation game, and I remember going to no, you don't laugh here. It was like the original Just Dance, but only one person could play, right? And I went to a sleepover party, and because I was the best like player of video games, the mum specifically bought this game for me to play, and while everyone danced behind me and I played the game and got like perfect scores, and everyone learnt the Spice Girl dances, and I got to keep the game as I went home because she was like, we don't play this game, you can keep it. And so like I mastered all these Spice Girl like dance moves and everything. Google it, it's a
Who are
thing.
these people
I know
that you're
it
growing
is.
up with
I know
that
it
are
is.
just buying you video games?
Yeah, it's
Look, the Spice Girls PS1 game, those models looked absolutely horrendous.
they were really bad, but I could
They
nail
were scary.
X, circle, square, and triangle. I nailed it. Even the R1 and square.
It was Parappa the Rapper
Perfect.
before Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, I mean, look, they knew how to market with the PlayStation 1. You find Top Gun, you find Spice Girls, you find Scratch and Sniff, and you make it into a video game, which I think ties us back into maybe last week's topic where they're like, we said something along the lines of stop making reboots, stop making remasters, give us a new game.
Give us a reboot of the Scratch and Sniff discs.
Yeah, or give us One Direction in a game. Or give us, I don't know, what's a new movie that we can make into a video game?
You know what? Actually, speaking of new movies, right? I recently got finished up watching The Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime.
Oh, is that a movie?
It is.
Is that
Okay.
starring Chris Pratt?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris Pratt. I recommended it to
Ooh.
some family and they were like, hey, it was okay. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. There was like really nice themes about family and, made you ask yourself the question, what would you
Vin Diesel
do?
come in.
What would you do if a messenger from the future came back and said, we need your help with something? Right?
Yeah.
So I won't give away too much of the movie because obviously if you haven't seen it, then, you'll want to
Go
go
watch it.
Yeah, you want to go watch it.
Amazon Prime comes with a free Twitch Prime subscription that you can use on one of three of us. Any Primers in the chat?
That's it.
I'm sorry.
Don't spend your
Twitch
real money
just
on
comes
me.
out in me.
Don't spend your real money on me. Spend Jeff Bezos' money on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, what up?
That man's got enough money to
That's
Twitch
it.
Prime every single person in the world.
That's it. So,
Oh.
but yeah, no, I really enjoyed. What was the point what I was making? That would be an amazing game, I reckon. I would be.
Okay.
I would be very. I mean, look, it would be. Granted, it would be a pretty straightforward FPS or 3PS shooter game, but it's. I like the premise and I like the story behind it, and it would definitely be a game that I'd be interested in.
Wasn't it like that just sounds like Ratchet and Clank ripped apart time travel.
No, it's
But with
completely
just
different.
realistic.
Or like Alien.
Yeah,
and-
Alien
and maybe like
Isolation.
Starship Troopers.
Okay.
Yeah, like Starship Troopers actually would be a very good game. I would play the shit out of that if there was a Starship Troopers game.
Hmm.
Mm.
Alien
Wait, your trade offer. You get a Starship Troopers the game, but it's made by EA.
Ooh. I want another
offer.
game like Alien Isolation. I wasn't scared of Alien. I thought they did a fantastic. See, I'm a big fan of the AVP movies. I think they're fantastic. They're so well written, so intelligent. I'm 11 out of 10. Such a good movie series. Alien Isolation is a fantastic game. Was not scared of Alien at all. I was more scared of the fucking, what are they called? Wandering the robots.
Mm.
There's a name.
The Android things.
The androids,
Yeah.
because they yank you from lockers, and if you play it through PlayStation or console, it actually picks up your mic too. And because if you're doing it on stream,
Yeah, fuck.
you don't shut up. So there's like a little fault there with the
game
gameplay.
makes you shut up.
The game, you just sit there in silence and you're like, and then you get pulled from a locker and you're like, oh fuck, dead. And then you got to restart.
Boy.
That game is definitely something that I would definitely just go back to, or give me something different, like, I don't know, Phasmophobia, I think, is a game that I keep going back to.
Great. Phasmophobia is great.
It's made by one guy. Like, one guy.
That's like, look, most great games are made by a small indie developer.
Stardew.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say Stardew. It's a fantastic game made by one developer.
Oh yeah, one guy. And Phasmophobia, he recently put out a brand new map and 2 new ghosts, and
Really?
I'm sitting here like,
I
will happily carry you through Phasmophobia. I think Phas is great. You can outrun all of the ghosts, save the Jinn and the there's another.
I do love me some gin.
Like, you can outrun the ghosts. You can hide from them too. If you crouch out of their line of sight and you crouch run, you can still get away from the ghosts.
Just play in VR and you're sorted.
Oh, I can. I actually get so motion sick with VR.
Oh,
I get migraines.
I love my VR so much.
Oh,
I think it's great.
I wish I was good at Beat Saber. I played Beat Saber once, and all I did after that was just throw up repulsively.
It sounds
but-
violent. I like it.
It was. But I see people playing Beat Saber, and I'm like, it looks incredible. I wish I had that talent.
Nazy's
I
a
see
good
people-
Beat Saber streamer, isn't she? Have you heard
Who's
of her?
that?
Nazy, I think.
Yeah,
her name?
she's.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Nancy, yeah.
Nazy, I think it is.
Nazy or whatever, yeah.
Pause real quick.
I love Beat Saber. It is one of my favorite VR games of all time, hands down. I play because I love rhythm games in general. I will play that game religiously for hours. Like I will force myself into a massive sweat. I will force myself to start heavily breathing just so I can play one more game of that. And playing online as well. Playing online's great. Playing online on that game is so good, especially like on using the Quest 2, because you stand in the lobby and you see everyone everywhere, and you're like waving to everyone, just like hi, and you're dancing and all that, and they wave back at you, and you're like, oh, that's great. And then you see because how the online is set up is that if you play with like 4 people, they'll be like you're in this massive void of people, void of nothing, and then you'll have 4 podiums, including yourself, just raised up from the ground. And the higher score you get, the higher you go from everyone. So people can be down here, and I'll be up here, and then somebody else will be down there. And then if you're better, you'll be projected up on the in the middle, as your movement's going on as your avatar. So you'll be like, yes, I'm better than you mortal peasants.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
It's so if you have a VR at home, and you haven't played Beat Saber, please, either go to a friend's place or buy it. It is
Not
one
right
of
now,
the
because
best.
it's lockdown.
Well, yes.
If you're in
Mask
Sydney.
up, be safe.
More of an excuse for you to get it because it's a great cardio workout. It's cardio. It's a great workout without going anywhere or seeing anyone.
Pretty much. You don't have to see people. I mean,
Well, coming back to the main topic, Beat Saber, that is a game I could easily come back to. I feel like it's the modern day equivalent of Guitar Hero.
I miss
yeah,
Guitar Hero.
definitely.
I played the shit out of Guitar Hero back in the Guitar
who
Hero
didn't?
3, bro.
Oh, I had Guitar Hero Aerosmith.
Ah, yes.
Oh, so
I feel
good.
like Guitar Hero 3 is when you think of Guitar Hero, for me, everyone will sort of automatically revert to the first time you finished the game and through the fire and flames plays.
I was about to say, yeah.
Right? That is the ultimate Guitar Hero experience, or that's the first thing I think of when I think of Guitar Hero. And I remember playing the crap out of that. It was like that time where rhythm games with custom peripherals was a thing, like DJ Hero. I played DJ Hero as well. I would happily go back to those games, actually.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's most of us speaking. We would go back to something like Guitar Hero because it's so addicting when you get get better and better levels. I remember I got to a point where I was playing those games behind my head. That's how much I played it because I knew all the button presses. I'm like, I can do this. I can do
Fancy
this.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even as someone who doesn't play those games, it's impressive to watch that because it's it's just talent at that stage. It's almost like watching someone genuinely play an instrument or actually getting a good kill shot or that kind of jazz. It's just it's muscle memory. It's in your repertoire. It's watching that one twitch.
It's, you know, I remember when I was playing those games, like if you'd played them long enough, because you know in Guitar Hero, right, you've got the 5 buttons on the bottom of the screen,
on the
and
neck,
then the highway, right, that goes up the screen. If you'd played long enough and then you turn off like your television and stuff like that, your actual vision starts going like and sinking into a spot in the middle of your visual field.
It just all blurs into one where you just like.
No, like your literal vision gets affected by it, right? Like you can be looking at nothing else, and like you just see, like the rooms start closing into a point, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
my life is changing before my eyes.
Yeah. I am the hero of guitars.
My synapses are being affected.
But that's how addicting the gameplay was, and that coming back to games that we love to play, I think that makes a core game replayable, like that sense of dopamine, that constant set of dopamine that you can easily get over and over and over. That's why I believe that, as I said before, Beat Saber will be the modern day Guitar Hero, because VR is becoming more accessible to everyone. It's still expensive, but it's accessible to everyone, just like the guitars back in the early days. If it was expensive, but you would be able to still get one. And then if you were the cool kid who had the Band Hero set with the guitar, the mic, and the drum set, that would be like you'd be the cool kid. You have a VR at your place and you show your friends, then they want to get a VR because you're swiping these blocks and just everything feels, it's like your whole body's getting immersed in this amazing rhythm experience. And then you hear the beat and you're just like, because every time you swipe a block, it'll swipe to the actual beat and you feel it in your body. And I'm just like, I remember playing it for the first time ever, and it's like I unlocked my third eye. I went,
oh yeah,
it's just like going nuts on it. I was like, I can get good at this.
Yeah, it's definitely more accessible with PlayStation. I know that they have done some really good things with VR recently as well. I do know that it still costs about $2,000 to get a decent kit for your PC. Because I think the cable. Ooh, okay. To get a streamable, decent.
Streamable?
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Sorry to interrupt, because I'm like, nowadays, if you get yourself an Oculus Quest 2, it is probably the best VR headset you can get on the market, because it's fully wireless. It has its own interface. You can download games on there, and to play it on PC, all you have to do is get a link cable, which is, if you buy an official one, it's $90. But if you get a third-party one, which will work fine, is like $30, $40 for like a 5-meter cable.
Ooh, let's go.
I think what probably Pine was getting at, because obviously the price of the Oculus is in relative terms, cheap. But I think where Pine was coming from with that maybe was because I've heard you can get like the foot, I don't know how it works, but like the controllers obviously for your hands, and then you've got like a waist belt you can get and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like all those high
I'm thinking
end
Skyrim. Skyrim in game.
Yeah, all those high end VR streamers, you see them like dancing with like an avatar in the screen. But I'm pretty sure those setups are quite expensive. But I mean, if you're wanting to get into VR, I think it's the price of admissions.
It's gone down a lot more, because I remember at least like 5 years ago, looking at a HTC Vive, you were just like, oh, just way too much. But
they were crazy.
They were crazy, And I got a Quest 2 for like $450, and it's the best thing I've ever bought.
Oh, nice.
Like, going from a PSVR to one of those, it's like night and day.
Yeah,
it's crazy, because I have such little space in my room to actually stream VR, and I've done stream VR, and believe it or not, it streamed really well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I feel like nowadays, the bar's set a little lower, but at the same time, it is, as you were saying, it's if you want the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, I do agree, Pine. It is quite expensive.
Also, you got to set up like a green screen kind of room deal, and I'm sitting here like, okay, so my bed's over there, my cupboard's over there, my door is there. Maybe I don't have to sleep.
Yeah, no, I need a dedicated room even for that.
Yeah.
Like, even though I've got the office here, I'd still need a if I was going to do VR and stuff, like that would be, yeah, I don't know, a
It
whole
would be
another
insane.
dedicated room.
Like, I
Eventually,
had to
one day, I do want to get VR for Skyrim. Even like, I
do
just
it. It's so good. It's so much fun.
if I see a dragon in VR, I think I'll just cry and break the headset. Maybe the headset.
The headset, yeah.
Okay,
The
yeah.
headset, yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
Because I played it on the PSVR and as like entry level, still
Mm.
great, but entry level. And I played Skyrim VR, and it was an experience. It was an experience because I had like my headset, I had the VR and everything, and I'm just like looking around as like Alduin just like flies over. I'm like, because it's also
Damn, that's a pretty
surround sound.
dragon.
Sorry.
Damn, that's a pretty dragon.
Yeah, because like it's not it's full surround sound, so you hear him overhead like up here, and you're just like,
Oh.
and then he lands in front of you in like one of the first scenes, and you're just like, oh my god, you're big.
Oh. My ultimate goal, Skyrim related, is to get a bearded dragon and name him Alduin.
Do it.
All
But like,
right.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
we've been going for just over an hour now.
it goes
Mhm.
quick.
It
It
does
I
go quick.
know. Thank you guys for joining us for yet another Triple D show. Signing off with me tonight is Death
Yo, Death Nail Zero. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys.
and the lovely Drayster909.
Confirmed weeb, as you all know. Thank you so much.
Make sure you guys follow us on all of our socials and hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification button so you guys know when we post a video onto this channel. This is me, Divine Pine, signing off. Good night, guys. Have a good one.